Congress is set to vote this week on a bipartisan agreement to suspend the debt ceiling and avert a potential government default. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and President Biden were able to finally reach a 2-year agreement over the weekend, this after weeks of negotiations. Both leaders are now working to convince lawmakers in their respective parties to back the deal.
So it's not 100% what everybody wants, but when you look, the country is going to be stronger. This is going to be transformational.
The agreement also represents a compromise, which means no one got everything they want. But that's the responsibility of governing.
CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins us now from Capitol Hill. Scott, talk about making news on a holiday weekend here. So Speaker McCarthy has remained confident that the agreement is popular among Republicans on Capitol Hill. So here's some of what he had to say yesterday.
More than 95% of all those in the conference were very excited. But think about this. We finally were able to cut spending. We're the first Congress to vote for cutting spending year over year.
All right, Scott. So how are Republicans and Democrats speaking about this deal and what's going to happen next?
House Republican leaders, the chairman of several committees, the head of the Republican conference all had a late afternoon news conference to champion this agreement, try to secure some support and galvanize their members to vote in favor of it. But it's becoming increasingly clear, Matt, the deal could lose people at either edge of the political spectrum. Some of the more progressive members of the House may have concerns with cuts to social programs. Some of the more conservative members of the Freedom Caucus think not nearly enough money at all is being cut in this deal. So let's listen first to the criticisms, one from a Republican from Virginia, the next from a Democrat from Pennsylvania.
I think it's an abysmal failure of Republican leadership. We were in a position of strength. We have the House majority. The polls were showing 80% support for either not cutting spending, not raising the debt limit, or only doing it with spending cuts. Only 20% were holding the president's view of just unlimited, unconditional raising the debt ceiling. So we were in a strong position.
While we averted the worst of the crisis, again, compromise means sacrifice for the most marginalized and the most vulnerable. We are not seeing our ultra rich, our corporations make any sacrifices at all. And these negotiations, they were never on the chopping block.
Here's what they need. In the U.S. House, they need 218 people to vote yes for this. In the Senate, they need at least 60. The House vote could happen as early as Wednesday. And Matt, there's some sense here today into tonight that you better have this vote Wednesday. The longer you give it, the more time you give to controversial legislation, the graver the risk of losing people who flip from yes to no, the more opposition can form. So if they want to thread this needle, they do need to thread it efficiently.
That's true. I mean, this has been talked about for weeks now, and here we are. So walk us through what's in the bill. What did each side get? What did each side give? I saw tweets from people like Congresswoman Lauren Boebert who were not happy about this. So what was the give and take here?
And the only firm no's we're hearing right now are from the House Freedom Caucus, the more conservative members of the Republican conference. Let me tell you about the top lines. This extends the debt ceiling through 2025, through January 2025, which gets it right past the 2024 election, where a lot of people are comfortable not to have it placed. It also keeps military, veterans, and Social Security funding where it is now, maybe a slight increase, but that non-defense spending would be flat through 2024. That includes money for education, healthcare, transportation. And look at this. It claws back billions of dollars from the IRS, a backlogged agency for 2024 and 2025. Takes back unspent COVID funding. That is not a politically divisive issue, but could be some real money there. It loosens some environmental rules, and it adds those work requirements to social programs, including programs that provide money to people who need help buying food. That's going to be a thorny issue when House members return here tomorrow. That is going to be some subset of the debate and the acrimony over this agreement.
All right. It's all about the vote now. Scott MacFarlane, thank you.